Friday to the Ungovernables, the Captain's Crew, the LFA family, McGroin Nation, coming to you live from the deep red state of Tennessee on rumble.com/LFA TV. Welcome to Ungoverned. Happy Friday. The pipe bomber, suspect identified. I'm going to talk to you about that. There's a lot to say on that topic. A couple things about the pipe bomber and the investigation. And if you remember, I don't remember what show it was. Is that not working for you?
It's turning
you got it. Okay.
Slowly.
All right. Brennan's computer was giving her a little bit of problem. Hopefully.
I had to reset it yesterday.
Yeah. Hopefully mine doesn't give me a problem today.
Taking a long time.
The pipe bomb story. I will say this. A couple weeks ago, there were rumors. I don't remember exactly which. I remember exactly which episode it was. It might have been about a week and a half ago, where the gait analysis story came out. Right, where it was this idea of Steve Baker at the Blaze and a bunch of people put together this report that said they think they found out who the pipe bomber was because of this, this technique called gait analysis, meaning they watched the way somebody moved and walked, and then had, from what I understand, AI, not reliable, analyze that and match it up, and something about 94% accuracy or whatever. So I saw that. I said, okay, it's an interesting story. It's a very interesting story. But I am I am inspired by, I have been listening to Dan Bongino since 2018. And one of the things that Dan Bongino had always said was, Jason, Speak, Winky, Sandman, I know all you guys and gals in here was hold, right? Hold. It was Braveheart. Hold. The 48-hour rule, right? The Bongino rule. Hold the line. It's like the that scene from The Patriot, another Mel Gibson. Hold the line. No retreat. Hold. Now, I would be lying to you if I said, look at all the look at all the holding going on in the chat, by the way. Look at all the holding going on in the chat. Love it. Holding. Offense. There you go. Is the music going to come on? No. Okay, good. I thought I forgot it. I was bracing for impact. Now, I would be lying to you if I said I wasn't intrigued by the reporting of Steve Baker. But I remember the words that I used, and it was either on this show or it might have been on Space. I'm pretty sure it was on this show, where I said the pipe bomber story, the pipe bomber case with the gait analysis and all that, the reporting on it, interesting. I saw it. I read it. I looked into it. But because Steve Baker associated himself with some other questionable characters that have personal agendas, I wanted to give that time. Yesterday, you found out why I wanted to give that time. I didn't know that the FBI was going to release the name of a totally different suspect. But this is the lesson, and I would like to teach the rest of the internet, okay? And shame on me if I sound like I'm condescending here. But this happens a lot. 99% of the time at this point, the first story that's out is garbage. Garbage. How many times have we had to do this? 99% of the time. The first time something whether it's a school shooter, the first person that's put on the internet is always not the person. Whether it's a report about somebody getting fired, generally it's not the person. It's not a real story. Whether it's a suspect in an investigation. How many of, with the Tyler Robinson manhunt, how many people were put up there as not the person?
A lot.
Right? This happens a lot. And I am not going to say that we should be absolutists on the guilt by association thing. But when you take it into account, the people who Steve Baker was surrounding himself with, the people who wanted nothing more than to see Kash Patel and Dan Bongino fail at the FBI because they have a vendetta against both men. They're bitter about not being offered a position. That's like having a judge who is biased against the defendant in a trial. These things need to be taken into account, and I take those things into account to determine the legitimacy of what I'm looking at. If I see an article in the New York Times that says, Pete Hegseth is about to be fired, or I look at it and I go, okay, intriguing. What is the sourcing? Oh, it's an anonymous source? Oh, okay. Oh, it's the New York Times? Oh, okay. Now, just because the New York Times says something does not mean it's automatically false. If the New York Times says that water is wet, the New York Times will have been right. But you can chalk that up to the broken clock theory or the blind squirrel theory or something along those lines. The fact of the matter is, here's another, my favorite example about people who got unbelievably carried away because of things they saw online and things they heard online and things that sounded good. 1 year ago today, what was everybody obsessed with? Drones over New Jersey. Remember when stars were misrepresented as drones? Remember when the first story about the drones over New Jersey was an Iranian mothership? All right. I hope I'm making my point. The sensationalism and this rush to be first on the internet is going... Here's the moral of the story. Sensationalism, the overuse of the word breaking... But and I get it. It's like, newspapers had to print big, catchy words on their headlines. That's what gets people to read the article. So that's what happens on the internet. But sensationalism and this rush to be first with a disregard for accuracy. We ran around like kings of the universe last year after we won the election. We are the media now. I got news for you. When I say we, I don't mean LFA TV. I mean conservative voices on the internet. I got news for you. In many cases, the new media online is just as inaccurate in many cases as the old media. In many cases. I would not as bad because they don't have as much of a real world impact. But with this gait analysis, look, again, I was intrigued by the article. I was intrigued by the reporting. And hey, there still could be a connection there. But what I saw, and this is what I see all the time, was, well, how come the FBI hasn't commented on it? Because they can't. Do I have to go on the roof? It's a brand new roof. And stand up there with a megaphone and scream about the fact that Kash Patel and Dan Bongino are not opinion podcasters right now? Dan said it on Hannity last night. Something that I have been saying and getting roasted for. Shame on anybody who has done that. Dan said, I'm not paid to give you my opinions anymore. I'm paid to give you the facts. He cannot speculate publicly like Candace Owens on investigations that the Bureau is currently taking a part of, and taking part in and facilitating. He can't just speculate about things. Well, I don't like what he said. All right, then you be the director of the FBI. Then you be the deputy director of the FBI. Because once you're in that position and you are bound by the ethics protocols that they're bound by, you will realize, oh, wow, I can't say anything publicly about cases that isn't supported by evidence that is available to me. Why hasn't the FBI commented on the gait analysis? Because it's a junk theory. That's why. Because they can't just come out and go, yeah, we saw that journalist who, by the way, hates us. No new evidence led to the pipe bombing arrest yesterday. No new evidence led to the arrest of the pipe bomber yesterday. That's the story. That's the story. And we're going to get to that story. I encourage everybody who is watching, who is listening, when you see stories breaking on the internet, and I've fallen for my share of them too, okay? I'm not saying I'm perfect. Nobody is. When you see something break on the internet, the very first time, and this is how I am with everything, and I don't know, sometimes it's annoying, but I assume that everything I read online is fake until I can reasonably believe it's not fake. I assume that every video that says breaking news is a bunch of bullcrap because I know that there are bad actors who use that template to get clicks and views and not actually inform people of information. We don't do that here. LFA TV does not do that. But I know that there are a lot of people who do. These 90-second reels of, well, that's a strange looking cloud. Must be the government. Guys. Okay? I'm not denying the existence of cloud seeding. What I'm saying is that every cloud is not a chem. I saw somebody online, literally. Look, I get it. When you see the lines in the sky, it kind of looks weird, okay? But there was a picture someone posted, I forget who it was, of just like round, puffy clouds that you would normally see on a day. They're like, this isn't normal. It's a freaking cloud. Click, click, click. That's all they're after. I will say this. And then we'll get into the actual meat and potatoes of this pipe bomber story and where I actually want to go with it. Be careful where you get your information. That's all I'm going to say. It is better to be accurate than it is to be first. It is better to be guided by the truth than it is to be guided by likes, clicks, shares, and views. Of course, we like those things. We want you to hit the like button. We want you to share with your friends. And the reason why I want you to share the link to this show with your friends is because we are doing our due diligence. We do have integrity. We're not sensationalist lunatics that are doing everything for short-term gain and for a like and a click and a view here. Because it never ends well for the people that do that. All right. I finally made the video yesterday, the Trump Hurricanes video. So I'm going to play that for you right now. Did you see it? Did everybody see it? We declared victory. It was a couple of days late. Monday, I think, was the 1st of December, wasn't it? So that was the tip. That was the actual end of hurricane season. We did it on the 4th. Couple days late, but we have declared victory over hurricane season. Donald Trump, the president of the United States. Watch.
My fellow Americans, it is my great honor, the greatest honor, to announce and declare complete and total victory over the 2025 hurricane season. We had 0 hurricanes in the Gulf of America ever since we made the name change. I got along very well with, you may have heard of her, Mother Nature. You may have heard of her. She's a tremendous person. I've known her for a long time, and we get along well. And I said to her, if you send any hurricanes into our country, We're going to hit you with tariffs the likes of which nobody's ever seen before. We're going to tariff those storms at 1,000, 2,000, 3,000%. And she said, sir, we're not going to send any hurricanes in. And we made a beautiful deal. Mother Nature, great person. But we had a lot of, they call it wind shear. They call it wind shear. And it ripped up the storms out there before they can get to our country. Ripped up the storms worse than the Somalians are ripping up Minnesota. You look at Ilhan, you look at the brother. Many people are saying it. She married her brother. And very interesting. If she did that, you know, it's a raw deal for the brother. He divorced his first wife, which was probably a goat, and wound up marrying a pig in Ilhan Omar. She's a nasty person, very nasty. But you had a lot of people talking about it. It's an El Nino year. It's a La Nina year. You're going to have hurricanes. We deported El Nino, and we deported La Nina, too. They were in our country illegally. We got rid of them. And we had the greatest hurricane season the world has ever seen. No hurricanes in the Gulf of America. We did a tremendous job. So I wanted to thank Mother Nature for holding up her end of the bargain. She did a fantastic job. And we had a wonderful and safe Atlantic hurricane season. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
There it is. We declared victory. I promised you that. Promises made, promises kept. Better late than never. I have been waiting all hurricane season to make this video. I was like, no. I saw the hurricanes come. I was like, no, don't go in the Gulf. It's gonna take content away from me. Don't do that. And there were no hurricanes in the Gulf of Mexico. That's because of Gulf of America. That's because apparently our president made a deal with Mother Nature. So that's very nice. All right, quick word from our friends over at OFP Farms. It's OFPfarms.com, OFPfarms.com. Deck the halls with cheer from OFP Farms, where holiday sets are jingling and ready to impress, famous for their fabulous, fabulous. Fabulous. Because I said fabulous, and I was like, who says that? Fabulous. Gift bundles. They have packed Santa's sleigh with goodies for every budget. Hold on to your elf hats, because they're dropping a Merry Christmas surprise with a not 5, not 10, not 15, but 20% Christmas discount. The sale is on, so scoop up those holiday gift sets. Delightful treats for her, wellness treasures, and beard and bath marvels. Prance over to OFP Farms now, not later, now. Right when you're sharing the show to your friends, share a link to OFP Farms as well. It's OFPfarms.com. Use the promo code Sean, SHAWN, to get 20% off of your total purchase at OFPfarms.com. It's OFP, Oscar Foxtrot Papa. OFPfarms.com, promo code SHAWN, OFPfarms.com, promo code Sean, OFPfarms.com, promo code Sean, OFPfarms.com, promo code SHAWN to get 20% off of everything on the website. It's OFPfarms.com, promo code SHAWN. Next up, a word from our friends at Silent. It's time to go silent today, SLNT.com. Let's face it, everybody. Your phone is a tracking device. It's tracking everything you do. Let's face it. Your phone's a tracking device. Government agencies, big tech, corporate data brokers, even cyber criminals, they're all fighting for a piece of your digital footprint. And they don't ask. They just go on and take it. That is why Silent exists. Silent makes Faraday gear that blocks all wireless signals, cellular, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPS, RFID, and near-field communications. No signal means no tracking, no remote access, and no breadcrumbs. This is the same technology trusted by special operations teams worldwide, used to block signals, avoid surveillance, and secure communications wherever the mission leads. And right now, that technology is available to you. To protect your family, protect your freedom, and secure your digital footprint, just drop your phone in a Silent Faraday sleeve. That's all you got to do. And it is off the grid, completely silent and invisible to the outside world. From their backpacks to their sleeves to their crossbodies, Silent's patented technology gives you control of your privacy. Visit SLNT.com. Silent.com, SLNT.com/Sean, SHAWN, to save 15% and get free shipping on qualifying orders. That is Silent. SLNT.com/Sean. Protect your rights, secure your data, and stay one step ahead. Silent.com, SLNT.com. Silence the chaos and go silent today. All right. I want to play for you Dan Bongino's comments about the pipe bomb investigation. As you know, yesterday was his 51st birthday as well, so a very nice birthday present from Dan to the rest of the world and the country yesterday. But also, Dan Bongino made a comment yesterday, he was on with Hannity about the pipe bomb investigation. It's about a 2-minute clip. I want you to listen to that, listen to what he said, and understand the things that I've been saying over the last couple months about what he is able to say and what he is not able to say and what the FBI is doing. Just because you don't see something doesn't mean nothing's happening. I saw a comment in the chat too. Just because you trust no one doesn't mean nobody can be trusted, okay? It is the truth. And just because you question everything doesn't mean everything else has to be a question too. There are things that we just know. Okay? But here's Dan Bongino's comments on the what happened with the pipe bomb investigation yesterday on Sean Hannity. Take a look.
8 months.
Yeah. Sean, I don't know what the hell this prior leadership team was doing outside of, targeting political opponents, weaponizing the FBI, destroying its reputation, embarrassing agents that are doing really good work out there, catching terrorists, CCP spies, and everyone else. It's almost like they were intentionally trying to decimate faith in institutions. It's horrifying. I don't know what they were doing. I can tell you what happened, though, when we got there, the director and I. My first meeting, I swore in, and I kid you not, probably 15 minutes later, and the people who are in the meeting know, I said, when I get in there, I want a full brief on this pipe bomber case on day one. And I looked at the case agent after getting a full brief on what they'd done, and they had done a pretty extensive amount of work. They had chased down, I think, thousands of leads, 6,000 plus interviews had been conducted, hundreds of tips, and it still was relatively stale, the case. And I grabbed the case agent on the way out, and I said, "You're going to get me this guy. You're going to track this guy down, and you're going to find him. You're going to get me this guy. I want him." And that started what's been almost a 9-month operation right now to make sure that we could get full accountability and transparency to the American public and find this guy. And today we did. But Sean, I have to add this because this is really important. You've heard all the cliches, team effort. You hear it all the time in sports. I said it today at the presser, but I want to emphasize this. This was a team. Judge Jeanine, Deputy Attorney General Blanche, people you and I know very well, AG Bondi. You cannot do anything in the FBI without DOJ process, subpoenas, drawn paper, search warrants, complaints, arrest warrants. Who do you think does that? It's not just us. We're the investigators. They're the lawyers. So that team, from day one, I told Pam and Todd, I said, hey, Cash and Cash could not have been more supportive. He's like, Dan, go for it. They said, whatever you need. And their attorneys over there were amazing on this case. So don't just throw the team effort thing out like it's just a standard cliche. I mean it. They really did a great job.
So then you hear from Dan Bongino how much of a comprehensive effort this entire thing was. Cash Patel said the same thing yesterday around 2 o'clock Eastern time on X. When Dan Bongino and I came into the FBI in March, the pipe bomb investigation had been stalled for going on 5 years. We rebuilt it from scratch, rerunning every lead, retesting every piece of evidence, bringing in top experts, and deploying new technology to engineer the break that finally nailed the suspect. Today is the result of that outstanding work. We didn't need any new evidence. Just new leaders and a new president willing to let good cops be cops. I'm extremely grateful to Dan Bongino, our FBI Washington Field Office leadership, AG Pam Bondi, U.S. Attorney Piero, and every partner who helped deliver this win. This is a focused, rebuilt FBI delivering results for the American people. So the most important thing that we can take from that is that there was no new evidence, meaning the old leadership had access to everything that the new leadership had access to, and the new leadership was able to find this guy within 9 months. As you see, Cash Patel said they stripped it down and started the investigation from scratch. Basically, everything that the old leadership and the old team did, they threw that cake out, and they baked a brand new cake, and they did it right? And the new cake delivered results. The fact that they say no new evidence was used in finding this guy means to me two things. Any new evidence that was presented must not have been deemed credible. And that means any evidence that came from any other sources. Or two, and also really the big one, is that they did in 9 months what the previous FBI could not do in 5 years. Maybe a little less than 5 years. But they couldn't do it. So here is Andrew McCabe. Remember him? He was the deputy director of the FBI under James Comey. On CNN, saying, well, these cases, they take a long time. Look at the excuses that he's making for their, I don't believe it was incompetence. Maybe it was layered incompetence, which would suggest intent. Take a look.
And Director McCabe, can you help us understand a little bit more of how this might be possible? Because it had felt like a pretty stunning cold case for quite some time. Is there any truth, do you think, to what the Attorney General and those were saying, that it was ignored? Or how do you understand the facts at hand?
Yeah, it's really hard for me to believe, Casey, that it was ignored over the last many years. Right? I think Evans characterized it well. You bring in a new team to look at the evidence you have in a different way, to maybe see things that your investigators who've been beating their heads on this stuff for years haven't seen. But ultimately, what you have here is an incredibly detailed data collection. And I'm sure a lot of that data was collected before this new refresh took place. But what they've done is they've taken every single piece of the bomb, from the end cap to the pipe to the battery connectors to the wires, use every little piece. They've identified where those things are sold, and they looked at the populations of people that bought each one. And as you layer that information on top of each other, you cross-correlate all that data, a smaller and smaller population of people begins to emerge. And some of the people in that population will be electricians or plumbers or people who would buy those things normally in the course of their work. But eventually your bomber, or a small group of potential bombers, rises to the top. And then you can do the very localized surveillance sort of work that's required to kind of take that next step. I'm sure some version of that was happening for the entire time they've been working this case. Let's remember it took the FBI 18 years to find the Unabomber, right, after his first bomb in 1978. So these are tough cases and sometimes take a long time.
Yeah, they take a long time. Okay, so then why did it take this group 9 months? I see a distinction being made between couldn't and wouldn't. Well, it's both. Let me explain. The FBI, the previous leadership of the FBI, would not nail this suspect because they could not nail the suspect. Not because they didn't have the ability and therefore couldn't do it, right? They couldn't do it because they knew who it was. They couldn't do it because if they did it, obviously this isn't a white guy in a MAGA hat. It destroys, it severely undermines the J6 narrative. The previous leadership would not arrest somebody because they could not arrest somebody, because if they did arrest somebody, it flies in the face. The person that they would arrest, this Brian Cole Jr., would fly in the face of everything that they whipped up about January 6th. Think about what the FBI actually did do in the wake of January 6th. They tracked down every single person that gave the Capitol a dirty look on January 6, 2021. I've mentioned it before. There are people in this live chat who I know personally who were visited at their homes by the FBI, even though they did nothing wrong. Nothing wrong. They went so far, the FBI did, as to designate parents who went to school board meetings as domestic terrorists. They found them. They visited them. They ruined those people's lives. They could not go after the pipe bomber because it would have destroyed their narrative or severely undermined the narrative that every bad thing that happened on January 6th was a result of MAGA, crazed insurrectionists, people who wanted to overthrow the government, except now we find out that this suspect that they have in custody, was one of them. Maybe not a Fed, but was certainly looks to be a left-wing aligned individual. Was this about a bail bonds? He's doing bail bonds. He ran a bail bonds company that freed illegal aliens. Hired a Black Lives Matter lawyer, sued the Trump Department of Homeland Security. And he's putting bombs out, you know. They would not go after him because they could not go after him. Because if they did go after him, it would destroy the entire story that they crafted around January 6th. And remember, the play from the beginning was to indict Donald Trump on January 6th, an insurrection. They couldn't let this guy, because then you'd have people saying, well, that guy wasn't a MAGA guy, but he did the whole pipe bomb thing. The last thing I'm going to say about him right now is, did you see Jake Tapper? Brian Cole Jr. Now, I'm going to say this clip is edited. The picture of the suspect shows up on the screen. The picture of the suspect did not show up on the screen on CNN. The picture of the suspect is on the screen here to show in real time that Jake Tapper is an idiot. But this is not straight from CNN, okay? Everything Tapper is saying was straight on CNN. But the picture of the suspect that shows up on the screen, that did not show up on CNN when this clip was recorded. But listen to Jake Tapper here. This is just absurd.
Brian Cole Jr., a 30-year-old white man from the D.C. suburbs, is charged with transporting an explosive.
And by the way, the way you see the picture of the suspect is covering up part of CNN's Chiron, and it's covering up where all this here, where it says live, it's covering up a letter. That's how you know that this did not air on live television. So let's restart that.
Brian Cole Jr., a 30-year-old white man from the D.C. suburbs, is charged with transporting an explosive device in interstate commerce and with malicious destruction.
30-year-old white man. Okay. Is everybody that does a crime now just going to be white? Is that the new rule? He must be one of those dark-skinned whites, huh? He's a 30-year-old white guy, Brian Cole. Is Jake Tapper going to make a correction? I doubt it. You know, CNN, they can't have somebody come on this on their network and go, actually, it was a black guy who planted the bombs, but it's allegedly. Stupid. Just stupid. And you wonder why their ratings are in the tank. You wonder why they're having a real tough time. That's why. Because they don't care about the truth. 30-year-old white man. Brian Cole Jr. is not a white guy. And by the way, I don't care what race the person is. Doesn't matter to me. He planted these pipe bombs in front of the RNC and the DNC in Washington, D.C. on January 5th. And he was arrested. It doesn't matter to me the race. But when you get it wrong, we obviously see why you got it wrong. It's because there's an agenda. All right, quick break, and let's get to a word from our friends over at goldencrestmetals.com/LFA.
Hey everybody, Jeremy Harrell here. Look, I want to talk to you a little bit about gold and silver. When I was a kid, I always wondered what Fort Knox must look like. And when I was a kid, I always envisioned that when you would walk into Fort Knox, you would see just gold everywhere, literally raining gold, kind of like what you see behind me right now. Unfortunately, as a grown-up, I don't have that kind of imagination anymore, and I don't even have that much trust that Fort Knox has the 5,000 tons of gold that we're supposed to have there. Meaning that decades ago, we went off the gold standard in this country, which took the value of our dollar down to just mere pennies. And since our federal government doesn't want to go back to a gold standard currency, then it's time to us to take matters into our own hands. Have you ever thought about buying gold and silver? Have you ever thought about taking portions of your IRA or your 401k or your nest egg or your savings and putting it into gold and silver, either all or a portion of it? Have you ever wanted to purchase silver like this in bullion or premium? I know I do. And I know I wanted to take matters back into my own hands, which is why I have worked with Golden Crest Metals to do that. GoldenCrestMetals.com/LFA is going to be your go-to, absolutely transparent and trusted partner. Now, you can go to that website, or you can call 888-308-4202. And what the good thing about this is they're going to guide you. They're going to talk to you. They're going to guide you. They're going to give you all the answers to your questions. And there's going to be no hidden fees. It's completely transparent. No hidden fees. No pressure, no surprise markups whatsoever. Clients get to see everything before they purchase. They've even agreed to lower the minimum investment to the LFA audience in order to make sure that everybody has access to this. Free IRA storage, free insured shipping, and a full range of precious metals from gold, silver, palladium, and platinum. And if it's easier for you to just maybe click a QR code, well, guess what? We've got that available for you too. Right here, ladies and gentlemen. Click this QR code on your screen and it'll take you right there. GoldenCrestMetals.com/LFA. Again, GoldenCrestMetals.com/LFA, or call 888-308-4202 today to reach these guys. They're going to be a great partner for you, just as they have been for me, and we absolutely recommend here at LFA TV, GoldenCrestMetals.com/LFA.
That's GoldenCrestMetals.com/LFA. Thank you, Golden Crest. Thank you, Jeremy, for being a part of the show. Next up is a word from our friends over. You know who they are, Captain Shitty's. Captain Shitty Salsa, Captain Shitty Salsa, Captain Shitty Southwest Salsa is not just a dip. It is a high seas adventure for your taste buds. Avasti landlubbers, the Captain bellows from inside the jar. Treasure awaits, a booty of bold jalapenos, swashbuckling onions, and a gold mine of ripe tomatoes. This chunky, briny concoction is rumored to be forged from salvaged doubloons and pirate tears. One taste and you'll be singing shanties and walking the plank for more. It's got a spicy swagger that would make Blackbeard blush and a tangy zest. Dive in if you dare to Captain Shitty's Liquid Gold. You got to take a look at this stuff, guys. CaptainShitties.com. It is such an enjoyable salsa. I had a really good time eating it, and tastes great. And Brendan, you used it on a couple of things, right? You used the salsa. There you go.
A little quesadilla.
A quesadilla. You had I used it with some chips. It was really cool. CaptainShitties.com. CaptainShitties.com. Okay. Do I have to do it? Do I have to? I'm going to put it off for just a second. I do have to talk. This is very important. Okay, the midterms are next year, and I have a sneaking suspicion that if the Democrats do retake the House, they're going to use the drug boat situation. You know, what would you do with a narco drug boat? What would you do with a narco drug boat? What would you do with a narco drug boat? Early in the morning. Send it to the bottom of the Caribbean. Send it to the bottom of the Caribbean. Right? So that's it. I think they're going to use the narco-terrorist bombing campaign as an impeachment hoax. I think that's what they're laying the groundwork for now, right? And I have no proof of it. That's just what I believe they're doing. Okay? But like I said, it came to me in a dream. So yeah, that must mean it's true, right? Donald Trump told me in a dream that they're using this. I'm just kidding. Because we're going to get to her in a second, because we have to. The narco drug boat campaign, I think they're using that. They're going to use that as an impeachment avenue or a vector to levy impeachment charges against Donald Trump. We've got to do everything in our power. We've got to do everything in our power to make sure that they do not take back the House in 2026. Thankfully, we got a good ruling from the Supreme Court over Texas's redistricting maps. Apparently, Texas had been a court somewhere, or it was one of these district courts, said that Texas's maps were not allowed. They couldn't use them, and the Supreme Court came back and said, no, kick rocks. A panel of federal judges last month blocked the new Texas congressional map and ordered the state to use their 2021 map. In a 2-1 ruling, the 3-judge panel ordered Texas to use its 2021 congressional map. The judges claimed the newly redrawn map is unconstitutional because it appears to be a race-based gerrymander. Oh, isn't that interesting? because race-based gerrymandering is the Democrats' specialty. However, the Supreme Court on Thursday restored Texas's newly redrawn map. Quote, based on our preliminary evaluation of this case, Texas satisfies the traditional criteria for interim relief. Liberal Justice Alina Kagan fumed in a dissent with whom Sotomayor and Jackson joined. Over the course of 3 months, a 3-judge district court in Texas undertook to resolve the factual dispute at issue in this application and enacting an electoral map slanted towards Republicans. Did Texas predominantly use race to draw its new district lines? Or said otherwise, did Texas accomplish its partisan objectives by means of a racial gerrymander? So they made it about race. The Supreme Court said, no, it's not about race, and Texas was given relief in that. So they have overturned the order from that circuit judge panel, a federal judge panel. We need, look, redistricting may be a way to help. Republicans have a turnout problem. Republicans have an apathy problem. Republicans have a messaging problem. The Democrats always have a way the Democrats have they have a lot of success in putting a fancy candy wrapper around the turd that is known as socialism. So they went from, dignity and equity and equality, right? And free health care, Medicare for all. People are going to die if we do not have health care paid for by the government. And now they're calling socialism affordability. That's the buzzword, right? Affordability. Nothing becomes more affordable when government gets involved. That is a hard and fast rule. Nothing becomes more affordable when government gets involved and starts subsidizing. That is a foolproof rule. So Republicans have this messaging issue. When Democrats use the term affordability, they mean socialism. They have been doing this for decades. When Republicans use the term affordability, we've got to define it. How are Republicans going to make things more affordable? Donald Trump talked about cutting the income tax. Donald Trump's talking about tariff dividends. Donald Trump's talking about foreign investments in our country, which is going to create jobs. People hear that, but to them, they're not putting two and two together about how all of those things equal making things more affordable. And if prices aren't going to come down, then wages have to go up. Republicans are like, affordability, we're getting foreign investments. And people are going, how does foreign investment make the price of beef come down? The Democrats, to their credit, although I disagree with what they're saying and how they want to implement it, the Democrats are going, affordability, we're going to pay for everything for you. They're using the same shortfall that Republicans are dealing with. People aren't putting two and two together. How can the government pay for everything for us? Well, the government's going to have a hell of a lot more money than it currently has. And how does the government get money? Taxes. And who pays taxes? We do. You are going to be paying for the affordability that the government wants to provide to the American citizen. We've got an apathy problem. We've got a messaging problem. The good news is we've got about 10 months to fix those problems. I'd be a liar if I said I thought we were in good shape in the midterms right now. Just from an odds perspective. All right, our friend Chase Bowes, political predictions on Instagram. He does not have a rosy look at the midterms right now, and he is not biased. He's just straight numbers and applying the political environment and the shifts that we're seeing to and extrapolating that into potential results and projections for next year. That doesn't mean anything's done. Doesn't mean that we should stop trying. Okay, what it means is it's not in the bag. And it's not in the bag either way. Republicans also have a lack of results problem. And I am becoming increasingly sold on getting rid of the filibuster because there's no other way to get results. There's no other way to get results. All right. I want to take your calls at 631-527-4545. But before we do that, I didn't want to do it. I got to mention her, Candace Owens. Just because I need to. I want to be very clear. What is it? What do we say? What do we call it? Let me ask the chat. What do we call it when a politician says something today and then tomorrow says something completely different?
A fraud, a liar, a Democrat.
Or what is the act called when they do that?
Lying.
When they say something, let's say today somebody says, I want to close the border. And then tomorrow they go, we should welcome in everybody and open the border. What is that? There it is. Our Bev Muscat's a flip-flop.
Oh.
It's a flip-flop. That's what we call it when politicians do it. So is the candy cult going to admit that she's flip-flopping here? Because here's what she said on Wednesday about this appearing on Turning Point USA's live stream and addressing all of the quote-unquote questions that she has about Charlie Kirk. Here's what she said on Wednesday.
Everything they could to stop Charlie's rise, breaking bread with them and refusing to have a conversation with me, and you know that I cared about Charlie. Have you no shame? We're going to find out. You can pick the place. You can pick the time. I say we do it tomorrow. We don't need to plan for this. We don't need lawyers in between us, lawyer statements. It's not how I roll, okay? I don't care about any of that. I want it to be authentic. Like I said, you can take the money. We can raise money live for this conversation. That is how badly the world is demanding it. So I accept it. With whistles and bells, everything I fully accept. I say let
everything I fully accept. You can pick the place. You can pick the time. It took her 24 hours to come out and go, except that place and that time. No. I never said I would have. No. At the same time as my podcast? Are you kidding me? In person? What? What happened to you can pick the place, you can pick the time? What happened to that? Now she's picking the place and she's picking the time. Anybody going to call this out? Anyone? Well, what's the difference? She says, she'll do it, virtually. Oh yeah, right. Because virtually, because that's a fool. But why don't we just have every trial in court virtually too, right? How about we do that? Virtually, really? She gets asked a tough question. We're having tech problems. I can't hear you. Sorry. Yeah, she would never do something like that. She'd never do something like that. If you cannot tell, at this point, if you are not going to admit that this woman is a fraud, that she's flip-flopping, that she's lying, as Jeremy points out, face your accuser. If you are not willing to admit that she's a fraud, I just showed you. You can pick the time, you can pick the place. So Turning Point, pick the time and pick the place. And then she said, I fully accept it. Accept this. If you can't admit that she's a fraud, I don't want anything to do with you. Then it's like a Democrat saying, if you look at a Democrat and you go, if you can't admit that men can't have babies, I no longer want to have a conversation with you. All right. 631-527-4545. Let's get to your calls. Hey, I'm going to do a quick little disclaimer today on these calls. And it's nothing personal about anybody. I just want to say, I want to try and keep them to about 2 minutes. So do me a favor, when you're on, keep an eye on your clock because I want to get to more and I don't want to do long it's just, it flows better that way, and it gives everybody a chance, more people a chance to get in, because we're starting the calls late anyway. Before we get to calls, I want to get to a word from our friends at Armor Colostrum. It's tryarmor.com/LFA-TV, TRYARMRA.com/LFA-TV, tryarmor.com/LFA-TV. Folks, colostrum is the first nutrition we receive in life, and contains all the essential nutrients that our bodies need in order to thrive. Colostrum can help you reactivate your hair growth and help your skin glow, can help fortify your gut health and ignite your metabolism, and can help fuel your fitness, performance, and recovery. Check it out. There's a special offer on tryarmor.com/LFA-TV. That's TRYARMRA.com/LFA-TV. Try TRYARMRA.com/LFA-TV for 15% off of your first order, and potentially more than that with these holiday sales. That's tryarmor.com/LFA-TV, TRYARMRA.com/LFA-TV. We're going to get to your calls right now. I've got one loading up on the screen. Who do we have on the line here? Hello?
Hello, I'm here. You know who this is.
Yes, it is Conservative Autumn. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you guys?
We're doing well. We're doing well. I'm sweating, but it's okay.
Oh, yeah. Well, all I want for Christmas this year is and I hope Candace Owens' husband is watching, but all I want for Christmas is for him to cut off the internet of their house.
Yeah, you know what? A little couple technical difficulties. They do it enough to our house. So a couple technical difficulties to keep Candace Owens off the air would be funny. Yeah, it would be interesting. Now, actually, I like when she talks because she exposes herself every time she does talk. But I hear what you're saying. It's funny. It's good stuff.
Yeah, she has a bunch of kids she needs to go attend to, so she might as well just cut off the internet and go attend to them.
Good idea. I endorse that decision. Thank you so much, Conservative Autumn, for the call. We appreciate your support always. Thank you so much. That's right. Candace Owens should go tend to her children. That's funny. That's a good one. That's a good one. I like that. That was a good call. That was a fun call. Yeah, cut the internet off on her house. That's right. 631-527. Oh, you know what I'm missing? Oh, we have a call coming in right now. Let me go and I usually put the little number on the screen. I don't have it there. We have, I think, Heather from Kansas City on the line. What's up, Heather?
Yes, it is. How are you all?
Oh, we're doing okay. How are you?
Doing good. I just called to say hey real quick, and I wanted to call today because I'll be busy the next couple weeks. We have performances coming up for Christmas, so be singing and all that kind of stuff coming up. So we'll have rehearsals and stuff. But I was going to also say, have you heard of the AI dating?
AI? What are these people dating, like AI chatbots? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, and like human robots now is coming out.
Yeah, I did hear about this. I did. It's unbelievable. It really is unbelievable.
It's just kind of concerning with what's going to happen in the future. Reproduction.
I mean, I don't know, Heather. I don't know where we're going with this. I have no idea. It's interesting. On those dating apps, there's a lot of fake accounts on there, so people are already talking to bots. But it's like, now it's like there's people proposing to Chat GPT. Like, what? What? So let me ask you a question. So I want to ask the IRS this question, right? If somebody proposes to ChatGPT and ChatGPT says yes and they get married, can you file jointly?
Right. Can I have your tax? Can I claim you as a?
Can I claim ChatGPT as a dependent on my tax? Come on, it's unbelievable.
Can I claim your children?
What a stupid world we live in.
Well, and then they had somebody on Jesse Waters talking about it, and he was arguing for it, and I'm like, are you a moron? I'm like, what? Anyway,
if I was Jesse Waters, I would have shut that guy down. I would have said, you got to be kidding me. Yeah.
He actually did, I think, but I just wanted to say that real quick. I won't keep you from your calls, but another real quick thing, if my Chiefs lose on Sunday, then I will say they're done. But
all right,
if they don't, we'll keep going.
Keep hope alive. Thank you so much, Heather, for the call. Have fun at your church functions and everything coming up, and we hope to talk to you soon. Thanks. Heather from Kansas City. Her Chiefs, a little bit of a rough skid right now. But, see what happens. We'll be talking about them tomorrow morning on the Rumble Rundown, right? Today is Friday? Yes. We'll be talking about them tomorrow morning on the Rumble Rundown, 9 a.m. Eastern Time on rumble.com/LFA TV for the sports show that Jeremy and I do. It's a lot of fun. 631-527-4545. I see a lot of people trying to call. You know how this system goes. Sometimes it Doesn't pass the call all the way through. But here we go. We got one right here. I know who this is, too. I know who this is. This is Iowa's all-star. It is Dylan Filion from Iowa. By the way, before you tell me anything you got on your mind, I'm just going to say this because you're a hockey guy. How about them Islanders beating the best team in hockey yesterday, the Colorado Avalanche, handing them only their second regulation loss of the season? You're damn right, the New York Islanders. Woo! What's up, Dylan?
Oh, nothing, Sean. Well, your Islanders are doing well. Matthew Schaefer looks very good.
He's a stud. He's just a complete stud, for president.
Yeah,
he's from Canada, though, I think, so I don't think he'd be president.
Exactly, and also too, I wanted to let you know, me and Chase Bowes connected, and
yes,
I'm gonna actually give him a tool for him to use for polling, which is very useful. It has to do with AI.
So you spoke to Chase. That's awesome. Chase is a great guy. You're gonna love him. You guys are gonna get along very well. You and Chase. I think so.
Dude, me and Chase are very huge data guys, so we'll get along very well.
I love that. Look at this. I love it. All right, good.
Speaking of data, District 81. So every month, voter registration comes out for my district, and Sean, we went from 5,054 Republicans to 5,099 Republicans within the next I think since August, 3 to 4 months. So
that's pretty good.
We're doing very well, and the Democrats are losing people to the inactive list, and they're at 5,578.
That's even better.
We're catching them, and I want to get our voter registration numbers up so we can absolutely obliterate them.
I love when you say obliterate. Right, obliterate Democrats. Do it. Get rid of them.
Sean,
beat them.
Sean, you can't talk to Sean. These people, you cannot assimilate with people who want to kill you.
No, I mean, you know what? You're not wrong. You're not wrong, and that's why I want to get a lot of the refugees, they call them, that are coming from countries that yell death to America every day. Let's get them out.
Please.
Yeah, that's it.
No MPGs. We can't apologize. I want to obliterate them.
That's right. Thank you, Dylan. That's the way we're going to end it. We'll leave it right there. Thanks so much, and I'm glad you connected with Chase. Have a great weekend, all right?
All right. Thank you, Sean. Bye-bye.
You got it. No MTGs, and I was like, I get what he's saying because she apologized to the left. It's too late to apologize. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching and listening. We greatly appreciate it. Every single day, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern time here on rumble.com/LFA TV. Make sure you're following this channel at rumble.com/LFA TV. Hit that follow button. Hit the thumbs up, the like, the rumble, whatever you call it, as long as you hit it. I don't care what you call it. You can call it the FU button. Make sure you hit that button. All right? They should change the thumbs up to this. You know what should be thumbs up? You know what they should do on these websites? The up vote should be the thumbs up. The down vote should be the middle finger. But the problem is then you'll have Jason King and Mark's Madness hitting the middle finger because that's all they do is they give each other the middle finger. Jeremy Harrell up next with Live from America here on LFA TV. As President Trump says, we will never give up, we will never give in, and we will never, ever surrender. And if all else fails, we'll just become ungovernable. Thank you. God bless you. God bless this one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First Trump Christmas Carol of the season is coming out today. I can't wait to put that out, too. You guys are going to love it. We'll see you next Monday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, rumble.com/LFA TV. In the words of John Fetterman, good night, everybody, even though it's the morning. Bang gavel. And in the words of our favorite president, thank you for your attention to this matter. See you next week.